And welcome back to another edition of the Rally Cat Podcast. I'm Zach Freeze alongside my partner, my cohort, my fellow baseball and football lover, Elliot Rearing. And Elliot, before we really delve into the meats here, what was your favorite Blake Sable memory as a Red?
Yeah, my personal favorite moment was when he was sold for cash. So then the Reds can use that cash not to pay for players, but they can pay for more expensive food in the concession stands.
Redzilla needs the oil changed, so that could be useful. The worst part is, like, I know he's a Rule 5 guy, so it doesn't matter that much. But I was like talking myself into this guy potentially being a contributor, and then like an hour later he was shipped off to the Giants. So had to get that
Yeah,
out of the way.
and the worst part is, like, and by the way, we can start out with this. I'm done with the Reds. I'm done. I'm out.
You're
I'm
never gonna
gone.
be done. Come on.
I'm gone. I'm gone.
No.
I'm
Come
gone.
on.
I'm gone. They stink, and they don't try to win at all. They don't try to win. They make no moves to win. Crawl said today, yeah, some teams they make moves by spending money. We make the right moves by doing nothing. We just sit there and do nothing.
Yeah.
All right, Nikki. I
What's
mean, I
it? Yeah.
it's just a disgrace. It really is. It's an abomination.
It's a change in land. I feel like in baseball now, it's harder. It's going to be harder than ever for us to win, or the Marlins, or whoever, the Pirates, because they're doling out. These teams are doling out contracts like it's nothing. Like, do you think the Padres aren't a big market, right? You don't think the Padres is like a massive, like they're a Yankees or a Dodgers. You don't put them on that level, right? So
No.
they're doling out not one, not two, not three, four players over $200 million. You think they give a shit about aligning payroll to resources?
Yeah,
You think
that's
that comes up?
that's pretty crazy. They set history with like the most expensive payroll. So
Yeah. You think aligning payroll to resources ever comes up, or do you think it's F this, let's try and win. Let's try and get really good baseball players on this team. And if we have to spend money, we have to spend money. That's what it costs to win. Teams do it. Like that's what gets done. The Astros, I mean, like they won the World Series. You think they're just going to call it a day? No, they get Jose Abreu. Like that's how it is. So I didn't mean to get too deep into the weeds on baseball, but
Well, no, I mean
I had a
it's
thought on that. So
I'm just done. I'm done. I mean, no move they make. Reds Twitter. I
hmm.
think Reds Twitter might be the worst place on earth. When you die and you go to hell, you get sent to Reds Twitter. You just get to that's all you get to watch. 24 hours a day. You don't get to sleep. You only get to watch like Nick Kirby say how good the Reds moves are and how Nick Crawl daddy is going to bring us home a champion. Nick Crawl. And again, it's no knock on Nick Crawl. Number one, he can't speak. I don't know who's in charge of writing his words, who's in
Yeah,
charge of that. He is the worst speaker I've ever heard. He
we need
doesn't
to
know
get
what
him a
he's
PR
saying.
guy.
He doesn't know what he's doing. In terms of baseball moves, I don't know. I guess he's okay. It's pretty easy to do your job well when you're selling.
Yeah.
So do I think he's a bad GM? I don't know. Probably not. But he doesn't get to make moves. It's why Dick Williams left, assuming. Uh, the Castellinis have quit. They've quit on the fan base. They've quit on the players. They've quit on the coaches. They have quit on the city. All they are now is a business. They are a business. They will try to make money. They will pay John Sadak to talk about Star Wars on the broadcast, and they will do all these great giveaways. They'll have firework Fridays. And it's like, I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
You're not trying to win. You're never going to try to win. It's been 20 years under this ownership group, and you haven't tried to win. It's
Hmm.
incredible. And the worst part is people will call back like the 2019 or whatever that was, 2020. Oh, that was the most competitive team we've ever had. Buddy, they quit 2 years later. And if you want to give them the out that there was a coronavirus, fine, you can go ahead and do it. If you feel the need to compliment the Castellini family in a way that they get an out for just quitting 2 years because of a pandemic, where, by the way, everybody had to deal with it, that's on you. And that says more about this shitty fan base than it does. And the worst part, it's not a shitty fan base. We have a good fan base. We have one of the best fan bases. We care about our teams. But people who have been warped, have been brainwashed into thinking that what the Castellinis do is good. You want all these prospects? Great. No World Series team has ever been won on prospects. I'm sorry to say it. I'm sorry to say it. No World Series championship has ever been won because of prospects. The Royals, you could argue, had a good core because of it, but they don't win that because of that. Cueto helped anchor that. Edwin
Ben Zobrist, Edison
Volquez, Ben Zobrist. These teams aren't winning World Series because of good prospects. It's not happening. I'm sorry. The Braves don't win a World Series because of their good prospects. They sign these guys. They trade for better guys. And it's like it's a good mix. It's an even mix. Do I have doubts that Ellie De La Cruz is going to be good? No, I think he's going to be great. And when his time comes to an end here, he will have no World Series championships, and he will be traded to the Yankees for cash. And the Reds will take that cash and do nothing with it except put it in the Castellini wallet, and they'll go out and buy a hotel business or some shit.
I think, I would, and I don't want to tell, like, fan, you can look at it however, if you're a Reds fan, you can look at it however you want to look at it. Like, if you want to try and convince yourselves that these prospects are going to be great, I said the Reds will probably be good in 2025. Like, I've said that, but also I'm not going to sit here and tell you like Nick Krall is the greatest thing of all time. I'm not going to pump sunshine into this franchise right now. It's just not, and I don't think like people, like if you want to like what the Reds are doing or whatever, you like the prospect, they've got a great farm system. Fine.
I mean, there's
people out there. If they want to feel that way, then fine. Like, but also though, you have to, like, the bigger picture is we haven't won a playoff series in what, 20, almost 30 years, 25 years. So like, that's the other aspect of it. And until that we start playing with the big boys and, like the Nick Castellanos contracts and the Mike Moustakas contracts, that like those were the biggest contracts in Reds history out to an outside free agent. Those don't even sniff. You're not sniffing the jocks of the contracts that are getting doled out this year. So it's like those are like our prized like prizes we won. Like we just hit the lottery on those contracts. Like we spent like $60 million. Meanwhile, the Padres are like, hey, Bogart, you get 280. And Machado, you get 300. And Tatis, you get 365. Yeah. So, like, we're not even going to scratch the surface. So that's just the quick baseball.
I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going.
All right, go ahead.
The word, like, I know what market we're in. I know we're not a big market team. I understand how it works. I'm asking for a little effort, and they don't give effort. They don't do it. I'm sorry. If you think that signing all these prospects and trading every good player we've ever had for all these prospects is a good thing, you are a moron. I'm sorry. Not signing Luis Castillo is an issue. Not signing Jesse Winker, despite whatever report that the Mariners said where he's not a good team, whatever. He was a good player here. Everybody loved him here. He would have been good. You signed him. If you want to argue Suarez could have been traded, he's had 2 bad years, fine. You argue that. You have to have veteran leadership. You have to have people that bring fans to the ballpark. Zach, I know, has laughed at me in the past for it. Like fan favorites matter. That stuff matters. And when you have none, literally none, you have Joey Votto, and that's it. You have Joey Votto, Jonathan India, and Tyler Stevenson. And I love Jake Fraley. I love all the rest of the guys, but give me a break. Stop. Try to sign a couple of good players. And I don't want Mike Minor. Don't sign people out of spite to your fan base that you're not signing people. So let's go sign the worst guy we can sign. It's just, it's getting old. It's getting old fast. I don't know how I'm going to put up with it. And I don't know how I'm going to put up with Red's Twitter because it is a cesspool. It's disgusting. The amount of like positive vibes I get not having to be like, oh, I'm not going to be a negative fan. That's not how I'm going to live. We're just going to take what's given to us. Whatever, man. Whatever. The Reds don't care about you. They don't care about you. They care about nothing. They care about money, and that's it. So if you're going to be happy with it, that's great. But don't sit there and tell me that everything's great because Ellie De La Cruz is going to come up. We're not going to be able to pay him. How are we going to pay? How are we going to pay India? How are we going to pay Stevenson? We're not paying for anybody. It's a joke. It's a disgrace. The Reds are a disgrace to the Major League. By the way, we got 7th in the draft. Give me a fucking break.
That's a tough break.
So we're gonna start tanking now for 8th in the draft.
We lost 100 games to pick 7th in the draft.
Whatever. If they want to, you know what? If you're a Reds fan out there and you're pumped with all the prospects, you go ahead. I hope there's a day when all those players get traded for cash considerations. Because that's where we are as a Red. We're not going to have any World Series. We're not going to win any games in the playoffs. They're going to sell your favorite players for cash. And then the next 3 years, when you tell me that all the next good prospects are going to be great, they're going to sell them for cash. All it is us just trading players for cash.
There's a 13-year-old out there that the Reds are going to draft 10 years from now. And he doesn't know it yet, but he's going to get traded for a player to be named later or cash. So
it's congratulations to that kid. He's going to be great for the Yankees. Ellie De La Cruz. I can't wait for Ellie De La Cruz and the Mets. God, that's going to be fun. Jonathan India when he signs with the Astros in 2 years. That'll be good. You'll be the replacement to Altuve.
So, the good news for the Reds is that Silvino Bracco was able to sign on a minor league contract, so they did get him.
That's good.
You want to move to some happier? You want to move to some positivity? How about the Bengals? Who did?
Yeah, they're good.
Huh?
Yeah, they're
How
good.
about that? 8-4. They took down the Kansas City Chiefs, and it was it was a classic. I think that game lived up to the hype. That was probably one of the 2 or 3 biggest NFL games of the year, I'd argue. And I would say, delivered. 3 times the Bengals have beaten the Chiefs in the calendar year, which is absurd. I mean, they've all come. The Bengals could have easily lost all 3 of them. And you could maybe argue they should have lost all 3 of them. Instead, they win all of them. Elliot, your takeaway from this past Sunday, the big win.
Yeah, it's fun having a team that's good. The Bengals are very good. I think they're a Super Bowl contender. I think they are as good as every team that is 10-2 right now. I think they're better than the 10-2 Vikings. I think they're as good as the Eagles. Eagles are probably the best team in the NFL. I would say the Bengals are as good as the Bills, certainly without Von Miller. I would think the Bengals are better than the Chiefs. So, and especially from a talent perspective, our offense is legendary. So I think we're in a good spot. I think we have a very good chance to go to a Super Bowl and maybe win a Super Bowl. I do. The Cowboys are an interesting little story. We lost to them when they were bad, and now they're really good. I still think we're better than them. I just don't think there's a team out there that's significantly better than us in any way. Not really. No. I think we're damn good, and I think, as Zach likes to point out, and rightfully so, we have the quarterback. And when you have the quarterback, everything's a lot easier. Joe Burrow, 25 for 31. That's 80%. That's more than 80% completion percentage. 286 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. He makes things happen. He makes things happen. And having Jamar Chase back is unbelievable, especially when you have Tyler Boyd, and we'll get to him in a second. Tyler Boyd, Samaje Perine, and T. Higgins. All these guys. Hayden Hurst is now hurt, but hopefully he'll be back at some point. I don't know. I think this team has a very good chance to run it back to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
Well, so I typically, you're going to look at me like I got 6 heads here in a second, but I hate UConn basketball. I really do. I hate UConn basketball, but Danny Hurley, their coach, who's ironically enough, is a huge Bengals fan. A couple of years ago when UConn sucked, he said, "You better get us now because we're coming. You better get us now because we're coming." Well, that's how it should have been in 2020 for the Bengals. We're coming. We're not coming. We're here. We're here. Last year was about the expectations weren't as high. Now the expectations are high, and we're here. We're in this thing. We're here. We're gonna be a bitch for the Chiefs. We're gonna be a bitch for the Bills for years to come. That was awesome. I mean, it was incredible. Samaje Perine was spectacular. I'm blown away. I owe an apology. You owe an apology. Everybody owes an apology. He was unbelievably good. But to me, the play of the game is Jermaine Pratt. I mean, he makes. I think we lose if he doesn't make that play. It's just sheer. I'm going to take that ball. And Travis Kelce, like I didn't think like ball. It's not like he was like carrying the ball like a loaf of bread. Jermaine Pratt just was like, I'm taking the ball. Give me the ball. I'm ripping it out of your hand. That
Yep.
changed the game because they get gashed for 25 yards on that play. They're down 4. They get the ball back at midfield, and then you feel, you score. So
And I'll say this: the lack of Tyreek Hill is felt deeply.
yeah, definitely.
Um, because if you shut down Kelsey, which is what our defense did, congratulations to Taylor and the guys, because the coaches, they shut him down completely. And that's what you saw against Derrick Henry. So it's what you see with these teams that have kind of a one-way type of offense. And I think the Chiefs are sadly that. I think, and by the way, when the Chiefs ran the ball, they gashed us.
Right.
They were destroying us on the ground, but they still go back to that passing game nonstop. And we shut that passing game down for the most part. Patrick Mahomes, 223. That's pretty horrible.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously his completion percentage was 59%. He didn't throw a pick, but he wasn't good. I mean, he obviously you're scared anytime he goes deep. But we shut him down. I think I really do. I think we're the best team in the AFC. And the Eagles are kind of the only other team that I'd be worried because they truly have the dual threat offense of they can run whenever they want and pass whenever they want. I don't think the Bills have that ability. I think the Bills are mediocre on the ground. I think the Chiefs are mediocre on the ground as well. So I'm pumped with the Bengals plan heading into this game. And we should have, by the way, we should have won by more. We should have won by a touchdown or 10 points.
Yeah. Tyler Boyd. I believe you're referencing the
That's
Tyler
correct.
Boyd drop, which was that was like I couldn't believe it. I had to like look. I had to like look around and make sure like, wait, did that actually he dropped that? Because it was just like it hit him in the face. Like it couldn't have.
I mean, if we lose that game, it's almost to a point where he can't play ever again.
Burrow couldn't have sewn it to his jersey. He couldn't have walked over and handed it to him any better. So I was yeah, thank God Boyd that didn't come into play. That would have been catastrophic.
But I guess we can talk
Um,
we real quick. We can talk about P Ryan because I think he has
yeah,
now evolved into something more. And hand up, Zach said it. I owe him an apology.
apologies.
I thought that Super Bowl performance wasn't good by him, and I was mad at him that he was in all the third down plays. I think he should be in now. I think if you look at what he can do all around, I think he's probably better than Mixon. And you can say what you want, but he's a better pass blocker for sure. He can pass block. Rushing wise, I don't think he's going to give you a ton of explosive plays like Mixon can. But I think he's a more effective running back. I really do.
He just churns out yard. I mean, he just churns it out. He's not like gonna make you miss very often, but he's kind of a bowling ball. Yeah,
He had a six stiff arm. He can catch the ball. He had 6 catches for 49 yards on
mhm.
7 targets. I think he's good. I think I think he's going to be an important part of this team, a really important part of this team moving forward. And it's just fun to see because he was a guy that I thought shouldn't have been playing this year at all heading into this year. I thought it should have been the Chris Evans show. And I do think Chris Evans should still have a chance at something. He scored a touchdown um here, but
Yeah,
I'm excited. There's no doubt about it. It's hard to temper my expectations here. It's a Super Bowl caliber team. Um, where do you think if we had Awuzie, would you rank us as the number one team in the AFC right now, or would you still have the
mm.
Bills? Because I know you're still a
I've
Bills
said the
guy.
Bill. I've said Bills year since the day after the Super Bowl. I think that we lost. Shout out the Rams, the worst team in football, but I guess credit to Baker Mayfield. Anyway, Awuzie, I think would change everything. I think we'd be the best team in the AFC
I agree. I mean,
because
I
I think
agree. I
that's
agree.
the
I
one
think we are
spot.
now, but
I think that's the one spot where you still are kind of like, eh. O-line's played a lot better. I think you got to give them credit. They've definitely picked it up and they've been solid as the last 3-4 weeks, I think.
yep.
Um, Yeah, secondary is the one spot where you're nervous a little bit because you have Eli Apple, who we know how, you know, up and down he can be, and then Cam Taylor-Britt's a rookie. So that's the one spot where if we had Cheeto, I would feel great. I'd feel awesome. I think like I would be, you know, I think we'd really be maybe the favorite. Um, but not to say we can't win it all. We can win the Super Bowl. We could still win the Super Bowl. I believe that. Um, but going back to P Ryan's been great. I'm curious of what they do. I believe Mixon's going to play, right? As far
Yep.
as I know.
Yep.
I don't know what this kind of maybe he gets eased back this week. I don't know. I don't expect like P Ryan to just be the number one back, but I think he'll play more.
I think P Ryan's now the every third down back. He's going to be the third. He's going to be in on third down every single
I
time.
think you're going to see a hell of a lot more of Samaje Perine, and he's earned it. So good on him. I'm blown away by him. Let's delve into Bengals Browns. The Bengals have the Browns have been our kryptonite. Let's just say it. It was at 5. We've lost 5 in a row or 6 in a row.
Six
Whatever
in a
it is,
row, I think.
they've owned our ass. Browns are 5-7. I guess. I mean, technically their season's alive. I guess
Yeah, it's alive because
they
of the
gotta they
7th
gotta win
spot.
out. They gotta win out. I'd imagine. Um, I'm nervous. I'm nervous in the sense of like, can we beat these guys? Like it's, we just haven't shown it, and we got our ass whooped on Halloween. Can this be different? Can we win this one? Are we going to win this one? I know
I
Baker kicked, Baker owned us. Now you got Watson, who played
Yeah, but
horribly last week.
Watson was the worst quarterback in the NFL last week. He was 12 for 22, 54% completion with an interception. Um, I mean, he looked horrible,
Yeah.
horrible, and that is a Texans defense that is the worst in the league and everything. So you know, I'm concerned a little bit because Nick Chubb can tear us apart.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not as concerned about Watson yet. I think we're getting him at a good time, still kind of early in. If it was going to be a week 17 game, I'd be more concerned. Um, but yeah, I think we're going to win this game. I think and Zach said it every prediction we've done. We've predicted the Bengals
I have.
win,
Yeah. I think I
but
have.
it's I think we're a better team significantly than them. I think it's just a mental. It's one of those mental things you just got to get over.
Yeah.
Um, and as of right now, we can still get the 1 seed. We can still get um the bye and home field advantage throughout the entire postseason. It starts at the Browns. I don't know. Who do you think, if you had to pick, who do you think is going to be a bigger factor in this game? Do you think it's going to be do you think it's going to be Burrow? Do you think it's going to be the defense? Who do you think is going to be more responsible for this win?
It's got to be up. We got to win up front. We got to win up front. It starts with the D line. I mean, we have to. Nick Chubb has killed us time after time. We've been gashed. We got a DJ Reader up front, Trey. We can't get blown off the ball and just give them 6 yards a pop. And then on the other side too, on the O line, it's up to um, Myles Garrett's he might be the best pass rusher in football. And we know that early in the year we got gashed, or we got just shredded by TJ Watt, owned by Micah Parsons. That's huge. I mean, Myles Garrett's in that tier. He's in that echelon of pass rushers. So it's up for, I think this is a trench. Like, we got to win up front. And if we do that, I think we're going to win. If we can not let Nick Chubb run all over us, like, Deshaun Watson was terrible last week. He's still probably figuring it out. It's his second game. I think you got to feel really good if we stop the run and Myles Garrett, at least, he can't just wreck the game. That to me, that's the important. That's the biggest Those are the
And
two biggest things in the game.
if I remember correctly too, Jacoby Brissett in that game was just torching us.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he went to Amari Cooper like 30-yard gains every time. So
Right.
I think the defense is going to be the most important factor as well. Got to shut him down. You know what our offense can do. Um, just contain, and our defense has been good all year. It's not like it's not. I mean, that was probably the only game that our
Yeah,
defense just fell apart completely.
that was a total. I mean, that was a total zero. That game was a zero. Burn the tape.
I
We
mean,
haven't had too
maybe
many of those this year, but that was
I
one
think
of those.
I
Just
think it was just
everything.
I think truthfully I think it was that one and maybe the Saints if you want to say the Saints.
But at least we
But
won.
even in the even in the Saints game, I still think our defense played well because we held them to 25 field goals.
I mean, they were better. Second half was a lot better defensively in that game. And what's your feel on predicted score? What's your prediction? Or Bengals are -5.5.
Yeah, I saw that.
Totals at 46.5. What do you think?
I don't know. I'm gonna pick the Browns +5.5 because it's a jinx thing at this point. I'm not gonna take the Bengals. Every time I pick the Bengals, they lose. So I'll take the Browns +5.5. But if I'm being honest with myself, the Bengals should win this game by a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
I predict the final score to be somewhere around 34-21, 34-24.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's what I predict. That's what I hope. That's what it should be. I don't because the Browns defense, despite Myles Garrett, I don't believe they've been good at all this year. I think there's been a lot of bad games. They gave up 39 to Miami. They gave up 31 to Buffalo.
Yeah.
They gave up 30 to the Chargers. They gave up 38 to New England, who doesn't have an offense. So I don't know.
Yeah, they're middle. They're middle of the road defensively, bad against the run. And they've given up a lot of points. They've given up a lot of points this year. So
I think we can score on them. I just hope we can contain Nick Chubb and the passing game.
so I picked the Bengals every time, every game.
Yep.
Every game I picked the Bengals. It's not like I haven't even really meant for it to happen some of the time, like a lot of the time. This time though, it's different. Browns have beaten us 6 in a row. They've owned us. Until it's not different. The Bengals win the game. I picked them last week. And it didn't look, they were an underdog. We were an underdog. They're the Chiefs. It's big bad Pat Mahomes. Oh, we're gonna lose, we're in trouble. No. Picked them to win. They won. I'm picking the Bengals to win and cover. 27-21. Barely cover. Barely go over.
That's the hook, baby.
I like the Bengals.
You win by the hook.
I'm picking the Bengals. I'm not gonna stray away. What is this? 14 weeks in a row? You think I'm going away yet? You think I'm gonna stray away? No, we're sticking with it.
I think we win. I think we win and cover, but I'm gonna take the Browns. So let's do that right now. Let's do our picks of the week.
I was gonna say, you want to do our gambling picks? You went 1-2 last week. I
one
went
and 2, but it's an asterisk because I have to pick against the Bengals every week as a jinx.
Okay. All right. I was 0-3. Had a really tough go of it. Started horribly with that.
Damn, I'm sorry about that.
Picked the Thursday night game.
I'm really sorry about your pick. I'm really sorry about your picks.
Thanks. Those mattered. I lost a lot of money on those.
Really sorry. Yeah, I bet you wagered a ton. All right. My picks. I'm gonna take Browns +5.5. I'm not gonna jinx the Bengals, so Browns +5.5. Outside of that, I'm looking around here. I'll take the Chiefs -10, and I should take them -30.
It's a lot of points.
Yeah. You know what Russell hasn't done this year? He hasn't scored a lot of points. So I'll take the Chiefs -10. I think the Broncos are a disgrace to the game of football. That stat's crazy, by the way. If they scored like 17 a game, if they just only scored 17 a game, they'd be 8-4. And if they scored like 19 a game, they'd be I think it was 12-2 or 10-2 or some shit.
Good God.
Yeah, I'll take the Chiefs. Broncos can't really score.
All right.
And then I think I have one more left, right? And my mortal lock will be the Vikings the Titans. No, the Lions. God. The Lions -1.5 because that line makes 0 sense whatsoever. I think there's a couple injuries in the Vikings or illness. But the 10-2 Vikings should not be underdogs to the Lions ever. So I don't get it. I don't understand it. But we'll take the Lions and we'll ride with them.
All right. I'm gonna go with the I'm gonna go Steelers Ravens under 36.5. And before you say, wow, that's low, Ravens unders have hit in 8 of 12 games.
Yeah, their offense stinks.
Lamar is out. The Steelers defense is on a roll right now. This just feels like a 17-13 game. It just feels like a really low scoring, ugly, gross football game. And I know at 36.5 is low, but Tyler Huntley against that defense, I just don't see points being scored.
Yep.
I'm going to go Dolphins Chargers over 52.5 for the opposite reasons. This feels like a shootout.
Good pick.
Feels like a lot of points. Chargers are going to be desperate.
It's a must win for the Chargers, no?
Yeah, it definitely is. Dolphins we've seen their ugliness defensively at times this year. They're not great defensively. They're really bad defensively, actually, which is honestly impressive. It's how they're 8-4. I like a lot of points in that one. And then you say Lions -2 or -1.5. I'm taking the Vikings.
You're such a dummy.
Win it. They're going to win the game.
Vegas
That's your money line.
Vegas is begging you to take that.
The money line upset pick of the week.
Look how stupid you are. Vegas sees how dumb you are, and they are going to just take your money that you're not going to get bet on it. That line makes no negative sense.
How could they're not losing to the Lions, right? They're not going to lose.
That's what Vegas wants you to think, and they're expecting you to put everything. They're expecting you to have 20 parlays, have 19 legs hit, then that last leg be the Vikings money line, and you're just dead.
They can clinch the division with a win. They clinch the division with a win, so they have everything.
They have everything to lose. They have everything to lose. They have everything to lose when they lose to the Lions as underdogs.
So we got a couple minutes. You got anything you want to get off your chest right now? I like doing this at the end. You got like 3-4 minutes. Anything like what's going on? What's up?
Oh, I think we're good. I'm really excited with the Reds organization, and I think we got a good chance at winning a World Series.
Have you scouted this? Have you scouted for that 7th pick? Have you been doing some research, looking into the prospects we might get?
Well, I'm not. So I'm looking past the pick. I'm looking at how much cash we can get for him up front. And if we do that, and as long as he's got 1 mile per hour faster sprint speed than Farmer, I think we got a good chance here.
The sprint speed matters. That can get you another win, I think.
I might tweet that now. How much money can we get for our number 1 pick?
The slot values are what, like 8, 9, 10 million, 9 million, I think. Some 8 for the first
let's
picks.
do it. Oh my God, 9 million for the Castellini family? Woo! That's a winning year for us, baby. Let's just take our money and go home.
Get in, loser. We're cutting payroll.
Get in, loser. We're cutting payroll. Daddy Crawl. I love how Red's Twitter loves Daddy Crawl. Come get us a new prospect, Daddy Crawl. Morons. Clowns. We're gonna lose 78 games this year, and then 78.
That'd be a hell of a year for
I know.
us.
I forgot that there were 190 games in this season that we have to sit and watch. But yeah, other than that, Bengals, I'm very excited. I think it's going to be a good year. Hopefully, when we record next week, we're going to have another winner.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, that's it, Zach. I think,
well,
good show.
As always, thanks everybody for listening. And
thank you.
Love you guys.